Hey YouTube, this is Southern Prepper One. I'm going to talk about silver. Silver prices and gold prices are going through the roof, and that's just an indicator that our Federal Reserve note is probably becoming worth a little bit less. But silver this morning is a little over $47 an ounce, and gold is like $3,856, 3,856. And that could change by the time you watch this video, but it's on a tear. I'm going to talk about silver. A lot of people either, are all into silver, and then there's some people that have no idea about silver coins, what they're worth. You might say, Dave, I don't have not enough money to invest in silver, but at least you need to have the knowledge of what they're worth. So in a grid down situation or an emergency, you could trade or you could barter. Silver will be in exchange. Now, if you're stuck in the middle of the desert and someone hands you a 100-ounce bar of silver, or they hand you a gallon of water and you're thirsty, you would probably take the water because this is not going to do any good. So yes, everything is relative to what's happening in your life and the other person's life. But say I have tomatoes for sale and you have nothing I want to trade. You break out some silver, we can talk. Now, this is not going to do you any good to trade for my tomatoes unless you buy the whole field worth, literally. This is 100-ounce bars. I do not own these. I borrowed them from a friend because I wanted to show you how big they are, and they're heavy, 100 ounces. So it's not something that, you're going to transport a lot of. Gold being very light, you can transport that. And gold is important. If you think you have to flee the country or flee your area, having a pocket full of gold is a lot easier than you can't even put that in your pocket. It'll probably rip your pants. So I don't recommend these. I honestly don't. I don't own any. I'll be honest with you. The biggest one I own is a 10-ounce bar of silver. So let's not talk about these. But, that's $47 an ounce times 1,000 ounces. It's about $4,700. Now, they have to take this silver in huge bars and melt it down into this. So this is called a premium. You're going to pay a premium for the amount of time it has to take to melt them down and to make smaller bars. So you pay extra for those. So right here is a 10-ounce, a 5-ounce, 1 ounce, and these are fractionally of an ounce. This is really all. I got a couple more pieces of these, but I don't have a lot. I bought them for just demonstrating purposes for my grandkids to see, and I bought them years and years and years ago when silver was a lot cheaper. So I don't recommend even this. If you have to get down into the lower denominations, like you're going to buy 2 pounds of tomatoes from me, you're going to want to go with junk silver. And when you hear the word junk silver is the coins that we used to use. We're looking at stuff that has 90% silver and I think it's 10% copper. And this is what it is. Half dollars, silver dollars. Now a silver dollar doesn't have a whole ounce of silver in it compared to this is a modern Liberty silver dollar, and it has exactly 1 ounce of silver in it. So don't get that confused. If you get another silver dollar, that's actual currency. It's not an ounce of silver. But we're going to talk about some of the smaller ones. Let's talk about silver dimes. And it doesn't matter what type of silver dime when it was made. If it's a silver dime in the U.S., it's 14 of them makes an ounce. And these are estimations. It's not exact, but if we're doing survival trading, I will call silver dimes. 14 of these is an ounce. So 14 would equal 1 ounce of the Liberties. So let's talk about quarters. Quarters don't come out exact. Quarters come out, some people say in survival barter, it's 5.5. Some people say 5 3/4. Some people say 6. So it's anywhere from 5 to 6. 5.5, 5 3/4, 6, whatever you want to work out on your trade. That would equal 1 ounce of silver. And this is 100% silver, 99.99. Remember, this is 1964 or older. So remember these, 14 and just say 5.5, and that's an ounce of silver. When it comes to the half dollars, it's roughly 3 half dollars will equal 1 ounce. And this is important. This will let you do commerce in a grid down situation. Now, some people might say, I don't want your silver. I want something practical. Well, let's hypothetically say I need some wheels for my hand truck. I'm looking for wheels for a hand truck. And I find wheels for a hand truck. And the guy has, he said, I don't need any of what you're trading. That's where silver come in. Because you can take that silver, trade it for your wheels. He can take that silver and go trade for what he wants. It's just a medium of exchange. And the value is going to be on the conditions you're living under. If it's SHTF to the worst case, people aren't thinking silver. They're thinking, hey, I need a can of beans. I need some clean water. I need a gallon of gas. If things stabilize, then it's going to come to the point where, hey, we're doing trade. We're doing barter, and this silver will be a means of exchange. It'll make life a lot easier. So if I went to a town next door, I don't have to carry all my trade goods with me, which you probably can't. You can carry a little bit of silver and make it happen. So I recommend all preppers have silver. I recommend everyone has silver just as a hedge against inflation. Number one reason I have silver is to hedge against inflation, but to also pay property taxes. Property taxes in the future, in a worst case event, could spike, go way up. I am hoping and praying and using history on my side to say my silver is going to spike to keep up with the rate of inflation or to keep up with how many Federal Reserve notes it takes to buy it. So if that's the case, I will take my silver, convert it into Federal Reserve notes, because I don't think the tax people are going to take it. And if it gets that bad, the tax people might not even be in business. But this is like the Great Depression. A lot of people lost their property, lost their farms because they couldn't pay the property taxes. So I'm trying to set up a hedge so I can pay my property taxes by exchanging my silver for some Federal Reserve notes. So silver's on a tear. Gold is on a tear. I hope you're preparing. You might say, Dave, I don't have any extra money to buy silver. I would say go to your local coin shop and ask for 90% junk silver. It's going to be quarters and dimes, I recommend. You go $50, but if you're low on money, see if you can buy every week at a coin shop. See if you can buy $20 worth of junk silver. This right here, well, let's go right here. This is more accurate. 14 dimes will be about $47. Now, they could charge you a little premium. Some places will charge a little bit more, but you could definitely get it for $50 for this. If you can't do that all in 1 week, it's all right. Go in there and say if you can buy 6 or 7 dimes or just a couple quarters, but every week buy a little bit of constitutional money. I think it'll help you in the long run. Don't recommend these. I got to return these. They're too heavy. They're too bulky. I could not bug out with 5 or 6 of these in my bug out bag. If I was bugging out, I'd rather have a little bit of gold. I'm not a big gold guy just because I can't afford a lot. I have a couple ounces of gold. I wish I had more. Mine I purchased I want to say 2020. It was about $2,000 an ounce, and I bought a few pieces of gold. Now I wish it was more because it's almost doubled, and I think it could double in the next month or two with the way gold is going up. So this is just to educate you. The only thing I want you to take out of this video, 14 dimes is an ounce, about 5.5 to 6 quarters are an ounce, and 3 of the 90% silver half dollars. They did make some half dollars, I think from 65 to 70 that were only 40% silver. So don't get suckered into buying those thinking, hey, those are cheap, I'll buy those, because they're probably only 40% silver. If you do have a few extra dollars, what I recommend wholeheartedly is these Liberties, 1 ounce. You can't go wrong with them. I paid $29.85 a piece for these. Don't have in front of me what date, but I have purchased silver. Some of this might have been purchased for, I remember $6.36 an ounce for 1 bar. $6.36, and now it's at 47. So a prepping item that can also help my family financially. So I just want to explain that you need to learn about silver, because in a grid down situation, You might be offered something. You might have something you're selling. Somebody says, hey, I'll give you some junk silver. I'll give you 200 of these dimes. That way you can at least, change it into what money was before the crash. Thanks for watching.